Hi everyone, welcome to another video of Postman series. So today in this video, we are going to see how to use and how to set the global variables. So in our previous video, we have seen what is variable and what types of variables, how to define the variables and how to use the variables in the Postman. Now we are going to see the first one, which is global variable. Okay, so the global variables, like I told you earlier, so that is a last preference. Okay, the lowest preference is global variable. How this global will help you in the sense, so if you are going to define some global variable that is applicable across all the collections in this particular workspace. Okay, so what can be the global variable? So for example, I'm going to duplicate this collection. Okay, so I have duplicated this collection. So now in all my endpoints, so this is my base URL, right? So which is our local host 3000 is a base URL. So now let's assume this 3000 is getting changed to some other port tomorrow. Okay, so now what I have to do, I have to go to all the collections and I have to change one list manually from 3000 to 4000, right? Instead of doing that, what I can do, I can set it as a variables. Okay, so now just double click to set the variable. So you can see set as variable is coming. So just click on this and click on this set new variable. So this is a port number, correct? I'm just giving as a port and the value is already taken because we have just double clicked on the respective value. So now you have to define the scope. Okay, so I'm just giving as a global scope now set as a variable. Okay, so now if you go to the global variable here, you can see the port number is set. Okay, initial value also set and current value also set. Like I told you earlier, so the initial value will be set only for you. Okay, so you in the sense it is an initial value which will help you when you export this collection and to somebody else you are going to share them. So only the initial value will be shared with the collection. I mean, shared with the export. If you want to, export along with the current value, then you have to click on the persist all button. Okay, so when you do this, even though when you export this collection and when you share it to someone else, so they will also get the current value. So for example, the initial value, what you can do now. So for example, you can define like this is a port number you have to use. Okay, so you might be using 3000 or the collection that you are going to share to somebody else, they might use some other port, right? So in that scenario, what you can do now, you can define as it is as a blank, or you can give some like a placeholder as a port number you have to enter. Okay, because if you are using your personal details, like if you don't want to share to someone else, then you can leave as it is. But if it is going to be a common thing, then what you can do now, you can click on the persist button, so which will store all the values, which is current value also it will be stored. And when you do the export, they can also use the current value. Okay, so that is the difference between the initial value and current value. The Postman always will take the current value. Okay, the current value is more preference. So now we have defined this in the post method, we have defined this port, right? Similarly, what we can do, we can copy paste the same variable name in the get method also. So if you want to use the variable, double curly braces and close the double curly braces. Okay. So now this value is coming from the global variable. So now what I can do now, instead of going to the every request, so I can make this as a port number as a variable in across all the methods, right? So I'm just going to change here as well. So now tomorrow, if the port number is changed from 3000 to 4000, so I can go to only this particular variable page where I can change it to 3000 to 4000. So which will get effective across all my collections in this particular workspace. Okay. So this is manually we are setting this. Okay. So now if at all I want to set it in the script level. Okay. Script level in the sense. So what is a Postman execution order? The moment when you click on the send button, it will execute the pre-request script and it will process your endpoint. You will get the response. After that, whatever the instruction that you have written in the test method, it will be executed. So now from the script also we can set the variable. So for example, pm.globals.set. Okay. So when it is come to set, you have to provide the key and the string we are going to read from the response or we are going to get from somewhere else also fine. Okay. So the key I'm going to give it as, so single quotes or double quotes, you can use anything. The Postman will support only JavaScript language. Okay. So this is a script for setting the variables in the script level. So I'm going to define the name or I'm going to define the ID. Okay. And ID value is, for example, if you want to set it as, I'm going for a 222. Okay. You have to give it inside 222. So now what happens? So in my global variables, the ID is 111. Okay. So after this execution is done, what happens? No, it will set it as a 222 because we are manually, so here we have done manually, right? So we have given as a 111. So now from the script, we are going to overwrite them. So after this execution, if you go to this global here, okay, 1 second. Okay. The script is not running. Let me restart the JSON server again. Yeah, the server is started now. So let me send this request. You console. Oh, okay. The port number is invalid. Okay, it is taking the current value that I have updated as 4000. So now let's save this. We'll go to the get method. Yeah, so now it is coming as a 111. So this ID value, it was taken from the initial from the global. So after execution of this particular request, so what happens now in the test method, we are just overriding as a 222. So now if you go and check the 222 here, the current value has been set. So from the script, the postman will set the only current value. Okay. And when you send this now, it will go as a 222 ID. So now it will come as a none because we don't have any ID, user ID in the name of, in the ID of 222. Okay. So this is a way you can programmatically set under the test script. You can set it in the prerequisites also. For example, I'm going to set global dot set ID and 111. Okay. So now, even though I have a 222 here, so now what happens now? We are setting this global variable. So by the moment when you click on the send button, it will set it as a 111. Later, it will change it to 222. Okay. So now if you open this console, you can see it is just went with the 111. But after the execution, in the test tab, we have written as a 222, right? So that will go on overwrite the values as a 222. So this is where you can set it as a programmatic way also. So global variables is a scope. It is applicable. So these two variables you can access from any collections across in this workspace. So now if I go to this workspace, in this request under this workspace, I can use them. So simply I can use the moment when you type as a port, okay, you can see it is coming from the global variable. Okay, so here also I can use this. So that is what the global variable. It is scope for the entire workspace, this particular workspace. Across all the collection, you can access those variables, which is called global variables. Okay. And if you want to global variable define, just go to this environment tab. So here you can see global variables. Okay. And you can export them this. So when you click on the export button, so it will be asked you to export as a JSON file, and you can share to someone else sending the email or any mode of transfer. Okay. So that's all about this video. In our next video, we'll see how to use the collection variables. Thank you, guys.